Hello and welcome to the Blue Tweezer channel, myself Alan for the channel, for our reasonably regular Tweezer talk. Little chat session here. We've already got some viewers already in. I'm just going to send off some Tweezerati reinforcements, send off some tweets and posts, etc. But good evening, good afternoon, good wherever you are. And a good Friday. Does that work? Anyway, let me send off these posts and get ourselves sorted here. It's been about a month since the last one, which is where the sort of slightly irregularity has come from, and hope you've been doing lots of game playing. I'm not sure I've been able to do too much myself, but we'll go through what I've been doing, and if you let me know in the chat what you guys have been doing, then yeah, we'll have a look and see what's what. But got a few things to talk about tonight. Sorry, just still doing the posts. Just get myself sorted here, and right, good, there we are, we're here, wonderful. So who have we got here so far? Stronikov, good evening, good afternoon from your side, I think. The state, not the country, of Georgia, wonderful. And also we've got Charles. A good morning from you. It hasn't even cracked afternoon yet, so we're just into the early evening here. And oh, looks like you've got some nice temperatures around about where you are. It's been a pretty good day here. Unfortunately, I'm going to talk in new money rather than old money, and I think my car thermometer topped off at 22 degrees, which for April in the southern UK is pretty good going. It's actually been the warmest day of the year so far here, and yeah, it's pretty cool. No, not pretty cool, pretty warm, but nice to have the sun out and not to be shivering at the same time when it does. And I think over the weekend it's going to be pretty much like that. Yeah, for the rest of the weekend. That'd be good. But anyway, anybody else in the please let me know where you are, what you're doing over in the chat. Tell me what you're playing. Stronikov, you're just getting into GBOH. Well, how's that for immaculate timing for myself and Ruff to start off with Cataphract on Wednesday. And you've caught up with it, brilliant, and we'll should be doing our next session next Wednesday on that. We've only really just started, but it does play quite quickly once you get going. But we'll certainly need another one, maybe two sessions to find out the outcome of the battles. And in fact, in GBOH, they tend to go rather quickly because it's usually pretty obvious what's going to happen with the route points fairly quickly in the game. It doesn't take a lot. Not like you're playing 11, 15, 20 turns or something, or not in my experience anyway. You got SPQR and Devil's Horseman. Yeah, I've got SPQR myself. Yeah, I got that when it first originally came out. Still got it. Haven't got Devil's Horseman. No. Just those two, Cataphract and SPQR. Although we'll go through in a little while. I'm expecting Great Battles of Julius Caesar Deluxe Edition to eventually come through. I don't think it's not shipping yet, but we'll go through that anyway. What are we going to do? Well, problem. I think we just had a bit of a string problem there. Sorry, we had these issues, and it's probably my local internet that's doing that. Apologies, but Tony from Tony's Board Life and the War Room is here. good evening or good afternoon where you are, and Ruff's here as well. Gosh, okay. All we just need is Jester, and we've got a sub war room. Would you believe? So yeah, good to see you, Tony. I must say I have to take a little bit of issue with you that I did see that video with some red tweezers. That's tantamount to betrayal there. I think should really be the old blue. I'm afraid red. That's I'm just not accepting that. Not accepting that at all. Rough, hey, what's happening with you? Oh, somebody's teaching you cataphract. What, somebody else as well? Bloody hell, you're getting two people teaching cataphract at the same time. You have to tell me how this other guy compares with me, and seeing if you're getting a bit confused between the two. Maybe you are, maybe not. But good. Anyway, we're... Oh, it's me. Oh, well, I don't like to sing my own praises or anything like that, but I think you're doing Panzer, Warfighter, you're doing loads of things at the moment. You're completely outclassing me, and so is Tony as well, with a lot of ATS stuff I think I saw coming through. Haven't really had a chance to look at it, so I won't mention it anymore, but certainly a decent amount of output coming from Tony's channel as well. You should look it up if you don't already know about it, and also Ruff's as well, but you should know about it. If you know about my channel, you should know about his. Good. Right, enough of the intros. What are we going to be talking about? Oh, and Crossing's in as well. Wow, they're all piling up. Just trying to get past the bouncer on the door, and you're in. Crossing, hi, hope you're doing well, and tell us what you're playing at the moment, or have been playing recently, as well as all the others of you, if you could. Nations of War, that was the thing. I couldn't remember quite what it was that Tony's been playing. Yeah, and Horse and Musket now moving. Okay, it's interesting. It leads me into the sort of question I'm going to pose for this chat. Because I mean this is the 4th or 5th chat now, and I'm trying to get myself organised so that I'm not just waffling on and everybody's falling asleep. So here's a question: are there too many war games now being produced? Where am I getting that from? Well, just hear me out for a little. So this hobby's been around, you know, late 60s. The 60s certainly, and sort of internationally into the 70s, and there's a lot of war games being produced, but I don't think at any time before now there is the number of new war games coming out. We've got, of course, the GMTs and the MMPs coming out with their their output, and then you're adding in the Legions, the Flying Pig, Old School, gosh, who else? Decision, Compass as well. And I mean, me being a YouTuber, trying to keep up, I'm kind of struggling to keep up now. I kind of got a bit of an overload in new games. I don't know how that works, because it should be a good thing, and it is a good thing. But it kind of makes me nervous. I'll show you for why. I mean, credit cards, indeed. I mean, there's the cost anyway. But I mean, my unboxings, throw it at the screen kind of thing. I don't. If you've been on these chats, I don't do the formal sort of lovely, nicely talked about and stuff. I just kind of I pull the box open and throw things up in the air and say, "Oh, look, this is interesting." But I've got 4 to show you. I think I had something close to that last time. That's a lot of games, and one thing I wanted to show you was this little inset here. That's just part of my shelf at the moment. Now, I'm not going to pretend I'm going to get anywhere near playing anything like more than about 5% of those. And this isn't, you can see my main screen, you can see the bookcase behind me, and there's this bookcase to the side of me. And there's a lot in there I haven't played for a long time. And I start to feel, particularly being sort of a YouTuber and wanting to keep up with the times and keep up with the new stuff, it's a little bit frantic. I feel a little bit frantic about playing war games. So I'll play the game for a few turns and stuff and go, well, actually, another one's just popped through the door, or another two just popped through the door. Okay, so yeah, I find this sort of, there's some form of stress here, which I'm feeling, and it's not just the sort of economic stress, because these things cost a lot, and you know, there's a lot you could spend your money on these days, and you'd have to spend a lot more money on the same things these days with what with the inflation rates and things like that. So I don't know if it's a kind of a guilt or yeah, just a sort of stress, which has resulted in me actually turning down some of my P500s, actually unordering them, the ones that are going to be coming through, and to make some pretty harsh decisions, buying decisions as well. And it's not a buying decision because of not because of the the credit card problem, just the case of, well, I'm not sure I can keep up with this, and I need to kind of dial back. There's a sort of slight sanity issue here. I don't know what you guys think. So that's my kind of question. It's not really a question; it's sort of a statement or a point of view. And I'm not sure if it's really complete or as a thought, or even necessarily that coherent. But it'd be interesting to hear your guys' opinions on it, because it is the market is in rude health. But for me, it's kind of overheating. As a consumer, I almost don't know what to buy anymore. So let me know what you think. Stronikai, I don't know how you and others keep your YouTubers keep up. Well, we don't. That's the thing. Yeah, the more the better. Of course, the more the better. Yes, your golden age, indeed. But I think there's an edge here, which I'm perceiving. And yeah, Crossing, you're saying it's becoming a bit bloated. Yeah, that's possibly an interesting description. Yeah, you have to choose carefully, and maybe it's the fact that I haven't chosen that. I mean, I haven't gone nuts over which games, and I know I don't do most of the P500s. I don't sign up to, and the ones I have done, we're just waiting for them to come through. But yeah, possibly it's a result maybe of the lockdown. So sort of 2 years ago, I had to stay in the house, didn't know what to do, ended up doing a lot of wargaming, doing a lot more in the channel, including starting these opposed playthroughs, live streams, etc. And at that point, I was, oh, let's get some new stuff in, something to spend the petrol money on when not driving it and not using the car. So maybe it may be a kind of backlash of that. I don't know. Tony says, do you find buying more and playing less? Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, buying more, playing less. Yeah, I think that's a good statement, and I think that kind of worries me about me. Harold, yeah, good evening, good afternoon. So you're on the computer games more. Yes, and I think when I played computer games, I don't really play them anymore, but I used to, maybe 20 years ago, something like that. Mind you, I never bought that many of them, so I don't think I had the same, but there was a ridiculous amount of choice, when the old game stores, computer game stores and stuff, that Virgin Mega Stores and I don't know whatever they were called around where you are, the games and places like that. And you walked in and there's kind of walls of just computer games, all the different consoles and stuff, but it's walls and walls, and you kind of go, as making a buying decision with that much choice is tough. Because which one do I like? And did I make the right choice, or did I miss something? It's very, very easy to do. So possibly there was a little bit of that with the computer games, but yeah, it's yeah. I know Ruff says about a Hethwill's rule about playing 3 to buy 1, but yeah, I don't think that quite addresses it, really. I mean, I think that's an attempt at a practical solution, but I think this should we call it an ennui? Yeah, a discomfort about the situation is. Charles, you're going to try seriously no more Hex Encounters or solo games other than what we pre-ordered, and 5 others that come out at year end. Yeah, so I'm kind of doing that because I'm expecting quite a few of my pre-orders to come through over the next few months, but I'm not pre-ordering that much. I think I'm not sure I've actually pre-ordered anything for the last sort of 3 GMT outputs. And as I said, I've actually pared back my P500s as well, and it's good that you can kind of do that with GMT as well, because you haven't stumped up the cash yet and before it's charged. Howard's off to play T-Day Dice. Okay, clearly that's of more interest, and you're almost certainly right. That is of more interest than me wittering on, but yeah, you like monster games. Now this is Strelnikov is a very good point. I like the monster games, and the corollary of this actually, like a side issue for this. So I'm going to go to PunchCon next month. So that's PunchCon. There we go. In Coventry, in the UK, 3-day game. Now, because I don't have the chance of playing monster games, because I don't have the space here. That table behind me, always get the dynamics wrong. Is it practically? And I can put Salerno 43 on it, but I can't put the entirety of GD42 or Panzer's Last Stand on it. It's just not going to work. So, but so I've got that opportunity to play a monster game. Deciding which monster game to play is kind of screwing with my head. I'm going, oh, I'll play this. No, oh, but no, that. Because I've got so many of the monster games, and this is one of the few opportunities to get into it. It's, yeah. Again, I think that's an aside, which is something to do with that, I think. Ruff's cancelled a P500. Oh my god! Was that a credit card decision, or was it a bank decision? Yeah, was it an other half decision, or are you feeling just a little bit of this as well? Maybe. Glamorous YouTube megastar. Thanks. Your $5 is in the post. Yeah, yeah, with stuff like that, you may earn your very own blue tweezers. There, it's a very rare item. And in fact, if you go to PunchCon, for people who provide adequate worship of me while I'm there, they may be rewarded with their own pair of tweezers. So, that's where you can get them from. Or you could just buy them online, because they're just readily available in packs of 10. Oh yeah, Ruff. You dropped Olmorid. Actually, yes, you said that, because I initially P500 that, but I dropped it a long time ago because I wasn't that struck with the levy and campaign system. So I thought the subject matter really interesting. In fact, all these other P500s that come out, Plantagenet and the Inferno, the Tuscany one, that, I mean, all of those subjects I'm really interested in, but I'm not keen on that subject. And again, my idea is actually that's 4 games I could buy, you know, including Nevsky and stuff, and here we go again, if you like. So I'm kind of trying to steer clear of levy and campaign. But yes, anyway, that's keep coming through on your thoughts on that. I know it's some kind of strange psychological affliction that I might have here. But anyway, let's turn that camera off. You've seen enough of my shelf. Let's just, where are we? Come on, let's turn that off. And let's crack on with other things. So, what am I playing at the moment? So, of course, if you've been following the channel, although there was a hiatus, and sorry about the hiatus, and actually there is one thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to break out the alcohol now. So, here we got, again, camera off a bit, trying to keep this on-air sign in the middle. So I'm rather proud of it. My daughter got it for me. So yeah, what is this? This is the bottle of Armagnac I've been trying to. Does that show up? Not very well. There's too much in the way. Let's just turn off the light. See, there we go. So it's Tariquet Bass Armagnac there. So that's as much as left in the bowl. And had this for a very long time. So when you see me on the channel indulging, it's been this stuff. But yeah, let's get into that certainly. And if you're having a drink, possibly it being a nice temperature and it being the afternoon, something cold and wet like a beer or something, that's fine. There's no shame. There's no shame in that. So right, cheers. What have I been playing? So yeah, if you've seen our little cataphract, let me just organise the screen here. Let's get myself out of the way a bit. Shrink myself down to the side and what are we looking at the moment? So yes, this is Cataphract that we've been playing. I'll be playing with Ruff. So Byzantines versus Vandals. I'm the Vandals. It's not going well. We're about halfway through turn 1. Already lost a couple of units to rout. And just been trumped. So if you know anything about the system, you activate leaders, and if you start with the low ones, and if you try and get a second go with the leader and succeed, the opponent can get a better leader to trump you and take over your turn, and you don't get the turn anymore. And that's happened here, where this chap Gara was successfully got a second go. He sent this cavalry off to attack up here, which was partially successful, but not successful enough. And this chap here, known as John, trumped him, and will be about to go when we play next, and this should be next Wednesday. So, but it's a good system. Recommend it if you don't have it. I'm sure most of you do. It's tea time there, Tony. Tea? Well, okay. It's something like a Pimm's then, I suppose. Pimm's and lemonade would be a sort of tea time. A bit of aperitif, something like that. It is what I would suggest. So that's firstly what we do. It's only just started. There's been a hiatus on the channel due to well, a couple of great nieces which I've had to help look after, and they're not close by, so there's been a lot of travel and work and everything on top of that, and so that's why everything's been a bit slow. Should speed up a bit now, although you know it's good weather and there's bits of holiday and things going on, but there we go. It's a pretty small battle. Indeed, it is the smallest battle in Cataphract because we don't want to overload. This is actually a teaching game, so Ruff doesn't know the system, so I'm kind of teaching him with a lot of help from people in the chat because I kind of forget things on the way. So small is better in this case. Long Island iced tea, yeah, that was a favourite of my ex-wife. So we won't take that further, I don't think. we'll leave that where it is. Okay. Right. So that's Cataphract. What else have we got here? We have my ongoing game of Gallipoli 1915 GMTs. Little outing here. 4-player game. If you heard me talk about it, but I'll just talk a little bit about it here. So I'm up against 3 Australians, and I am the Australians in the game, so no pressure. So I'm on. This is Anzac Cove. If I zoom out, you'll see the rest of the peninsula, and there's the British down there. It's not going that well. We're into the afternoon of the first day. I think it's 2 to 4 o'clock, 2 to 4 p.m. turn. My Australians are fairly well set. My first brigade that landed, which is the Purples, which is 3rd Australian Brigade, got a bit of a mauling. But the other 2 brigades, 1st and 2nd, here the Reds and the Greens, have kind of taken over the line, and I've kind of solidified the line rather than sort of run off into the scrub and get my arse handed to me by Kamal and his mates. I thought this is a decent line. Let's go with that. So we're kind of set, ready to defend if any Turks come our way, and I think that's probably going to happen. We can see up here there's a regiment of Turks which is just climbing the hill here, which looks like it could start to become an outflank. I have some New Zealanders here in reserve. They're still landing as well, and they'll maybe be able to plug a gap if a gap appears there. Down in the British sector, they've just about started to get off the beach, W and V beach, and they've been wandering around up here with S beach and Y beach. We've got some wandering Tommies all over the place here, so it's improving, but it was a very, very bad start. Terrible start, I'd say, actually. No good news pretty much for the whole game down on the British beaches, just lots of casualties, but maybe things are looking up. And my main idea here is to last until nightfall, and then I can dig in overnight. That's my aim really here. Okay, what else have we got? We have my Stellar Horizons game. This is a 4-player game. I'm playing the Asians. That represents the Indians, Pakistanis, Vietnamese, Indonesians, that kind of thing, sort of conglomerate here. And we are into 2064, so we started at 2032, so quite a way in, but nowhere near halfway, but a decent way in. And I'm established, here's Earth. I have a base established in orbit around the Earth. I have a base on the Moon, which is doing a lot of mining. You can't see it underneath that buy marker there. And I've also got one on Mars, and again it's underneath that buy marker there as well. So I've got some production being produced. There's three resources in the game. There's supplies, fuel, and ore. We're getting ore from the Moon, and the Mars base. It's a pretty cool one because I can flip between them. I could do either. It's not quite equally good, but pretty much equally good at producing supplies or fuel. Other than that, I've got some crew vehicles moseying about. This guy here has been researching around. He's actually on Mars, even though I've got a base there and doing some research there. And I had another guy here was looking landed on Phobos. I can't go beyond Earth, Mars and Venus on my tech at the moment, so the rest of the board is unavailable for crewed vehicles, although I've sent a probe up to the asteroid belt to get to Hygeia, which is here, but it's going to take a few turns to get there. I think I'm doing okay. I think everybody's doing okay at the moment. We'll see. My research isn't brilliant this decade, so there's 10 turns in a decade, and then you do research. Yeah, I'm not happy with the level of research I have, but maybe it'll get better. Maybe it'll get better. We've still got 6 years to go. So that's our Stellar Horizons. How are we doing in the chat? What have we got here? Bob says, hi Bob, north of the border, tea time is what dinner time's called. Yeah, the old you'll have your tea phrase you'll get if somebody doesn't want to actually feed you. There's a famous phrase up in Scotland, but it's also north of England as well, use tea time as well. Yeah, Stronikoff, you didn't like Stellar Horizons. Yeah, I mean, solo it was no great shakes. A bit tedious, but with the 4 players, it's not bad. I mean, you can have a lot of interaction in the game. It's just early on. There's no point in having any interaction, so it's going to get a bit tasty later in the game. But at the moment, we're just kind of building ourselves up. That's really it. It's got good production values indeed. It also has a problem in that it takes a huge amount of space up with all these big hexagons with the planets on. So yeah, it's on Vassal. It's a lot easier to work with. Right, and last is that least? Yeah, probably least. Yes. No, not least. Just last. This is Pericles. It's a Pericles session I've been doing with another 3 players. This has been going very, very slowly. We had one person drop out. In fact, I'm the Europontids on the Sparta side, and the Aegead player, who's my kind of counterpart, although I do compete with him. He dropped out, so we got a new person in, and it's taken a bit of a while. So we're in the middle of the second debate phase. We just dropped a bollock here on our last debate in that he selected diplomatic. I selected one of my, these are my cards. I selected one of my cards to play, and he selected one of his cards to play. When we turned them over, the same value, which meant neither of us won that debate. We only get 6 in a turn, and if they stick in the middle, they disappear for the second part of the turn, which is actually moving things on the board. And you can only move things and do things on the board when you have these issues out there. So we kind of, screwed up and lost a turn. We've caused ourselves to lose a turn, but them's the breaks. Currently, if I zoom in, the Athenian side, who are doing very well, they've got 4 issues on their tracks now, and we have 4 as well. But it's back with them. This is their part of the turn. As you can see here with the cards, they're doing a debate now, and then it's back to us. So we'll see. And the points are terrible. The blues and the purples are ahead. I'm just behind, and the guy who had to take over is rock bottom. He's almost on 0. He's on 3 points at the moment, way behind, which drags me down as well. So we both have to do well for one of us to win. So it's the Athenians' game at the moment. Them's the breaks. We played very badly last turn. I think my compatriot, the Aegead, didn't really work out what he needed to do. He had all the military issues to use, and he didn't use them very well, whereas we needed to use them in Chalkidiki. And we failed to do that, and they got a load of points, and we lost a load. And there's nothing I can really do about it because I didn't have the right. I had one. The only one issue was going to be useful is it was a diplomatic mission which failed, and I had some league options which I used to try and build up an army. I tried to create a path. If you see Sparta here with all the reds, that's the Spartas there. We've got a pathway all the way up to Halkidiki. I created one Thessalia, wasn't able to do it in Macedonia, and we didn't do any military expeditions anyway, so it was all a bit sad. So that's why we're a bit far behind. Yeah, a bit far behind there. Okay, so how are we doing on the chat now? Bob says you'll have had your teas and something only Sassenachs here. Yes, indeed, indeed, that's right. Yeah, yeah. The Scots will feed each other, but when the English arrive, it's yeah, you've hit it all, and you'll obviously have had your tea already. So, yeah, cheers for that anyway. So now we come to the any of the new guys, Bob, etc. Let me know what you've been playing. So I might have played it before, I might not know nothing about it and might ask questions and stuff. This is as it's a chat, I'm the only one talking, but if you put down any of your ideas or statements in the chat, then I'll completely ignore them and just carry on waffling. But I might, with a bit of interest, I might actually just reply. So the mobile area, so what are we doing on the table? So before, of course, I let the cat out of the bag and said, oh look, it's Salerno 43, but let's organise that and show you what I'm doing there. And if you haven't seen the game, so it's one of my new games, so that's a kind of unboxing of something that's already been unboxed. I'm sure you understand the concept. And right, so I'm just going to set ourselves up. Oops. This is the technical phase of the chat. Chat amongst yourselves, do, while I'm trying to dismantle one of my mobile phones. Come on. Thank you. Right. And hello. There we go. Right. So just let me set myself up here. And let's switch over to there with a little bit of magic. Oops, not me. Oh, it's upside down. How do we get upside down? Gosh, that's okay. Everybody, don't get a bit sick on this. Okay. Let's try it. Turn it the other way around. Excuse me, look away from the screen while I'm trying to make this work properly. Does that work? Does that work? Right, here we are. I thought I was in Australia for the moment, but no, we're here. So, and I'll just turn up some extra light here so you can see what's going on. So, Salerno 43. I'm just going to pop over, and you'll see me in the camera shot in a minute. And hopefully you would be able to still hear me, but I'll try and talk a bit louder. And hopefully you'll be able to see my hand. Yeah, okay. So what have we got here is just my first run through here. We are on turn 4, German turn, and what does the landing look like? Let's close in and have a look. how's that? Yeah, so we have the American landing down here with red and blue beach, and then we have the British up here. It's gone quite well. There was quite a few losses. Here's the dead pile for the moment there. So quite a few things. A lot of tanks lost by the Germans, mainly from 16th Panzer, which is up here. Very much on the defensive around here. But up here, I think can you just see? Yeah, just here we have Salerno, the big city, where there's a chance of these commandos who land on turn 1 being able to take the city. They failed, and now there's been quite a lot of reinforcement here. Hermann Goering Division, 15th Panzer Grenadier as well, and so building up to quite a tidy and angry bunch of Germans there, which is starting to push back down here on the British beaches. There's Uncle and Roger, the two beachheads here. So, and that's only going to get worse. The next few turns, there's some Americans to come in, but it's mostly a load of Germans from the south, some from the south, but also some from the north as well. So it might get a bit hairy for the British there. Right. Hopefully you'll be able to hear any of that. Hello? Anybody hear any of that? Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, so hopefully you heard that. I can't see whether that... Yes, I can now see the mic. I couldn't see the mic levels, so I thought it was all loud and clear. Oh, wow, amazing. Okay. Good. Okay, so that's what I got on the table. Let's just turn that off because it's making me feel ill as well. Yeah. Camera 1 back. Brilliant. Okay, we're there. And Mike, hi. Glad you can make it. Let's say we're our topic for today. You probably want to, as a member of GMT's production staff, want to contribute. The question I posed today was: are there too many war games being produced? Can everybody keep up? I'm struggling, I must admit. I'm struggling and finding it a little bit stressful and looking at game purchases that there's just almost too much choice now. But let me hear what you think, and let me hear what you're playing as well, and we'll have a look. Right, that was Salerno 43. Looks quite good. I think somebody was mentioning, what were they saying? Yeah, the 4X games, they're all marked Simonich's games, yes. I'll be honest, it's probably the last one I'll buy, because I've got Ukraine 43, I've got Stalingrad 42, and now I've got Salerno 43. I'm not sure I'll continue to invest. Ray, back to my point about, are there too many war games? I'm not sure I need to buy another one of these. Right. So on the new side, what have we got? So one that appeared probably earlier than the others. Yeah, you got lots of prototypes, and that's the thing. It almost worries me. It really does. Let me just turn the lights down. There you go. You can see the on air again. This is one that I invested in recently, which was Hill of Doves by Legion, although I think it was, is it Victory Point Games before when it was originally released. Now, I actually had this out and actually played it a little bit. So let's have a look and see. I'm going to switch to the other camera gives us a little bit more scope. Yeah. Let's just what's wrong with that one? So does that work? Hill of Doves, yeah. Actually, no, I think the original camera is better. Yeah, Hill of Doves here. Again, just the lighting. Great. You need help. You need help. Yeah. I need help, but I'll get into that in a minute. So, so what do we got here? So this is the first Boer War, and it's at 3 levels: strategic, operational, and tactical. It's a solo game only, and as you see, I've already punched and clipped everything here. I'm not going to go through all the counters and stuff here, but you have British, and of course you have the Boer. I think they're meant to be companies or sections, which are going to fight each other. But there's a lot of other informational counters. There are 4 decks in fact, 4 decks of cards. There was a deck for each of the strategic, the operational, and the tactical, and those cards are there for it's like a sequence of play on a set of cards. And there's also an event deck, which can happen. You turn over an event and something happens as well. So these are the decks here. If you're looking for a proper unboxing, then other channels have got lots of them. So I'm not going to pretend that this is going to be a little bit Heath Robertson for you all. We have a rule book. We have an introductory book. And we have an example of playbook. 3 books. Okay. Now, this is one of my issues with the game. I find the rules, and I'm being careful with my words, challenging. I must admit to have been staring at the board and staring at the rule books for a long time, more than minutes, to try and work out how things work. And this is even with things like the example of play. And I've found myself flicking between these 3 rule books time and time again. So be warned on this. Be warned. It's quite difficult to pass. Pass. Dice, of course. 1d6. We have a battle board, which is optional. You don't have to use it. I started using it, and then, can I say, it slightly confused me a bit more. And we have these 3 boards. Now, thankfully for this unboxing, because it's all the space is very limited, these are all very small. So this is, that is the tactical map. So you've got tracks at the top, which is all about your supplies. You've got the British camp down at the bottom here. Trying to get my left and right, okay. Which you also then stack your units to represent. And then all these others are targets. They're locations which you want to capture. Now, particularly the ones with these little stars here, there and there, which is Table Mountain and the Neck. If you can succeed in getting those, you can then start really hurting the Boers. But it really is difficult to do that. And one thing in the game is that when things start going wrong for the British, they start to really nosedive. And it's almost a case of you can't recover your position. It only needs the Boers to beat you a couple of times, and you're in a race against time, and the Boers will get far more active in the game rather than just being a kind of target where you hit them and you see what comes up and see if you beat them. They start attacking you. But this is the tactical chart, and then we move on to the operational. Then this one here. So if you like, that tactical board is actually there. and here you have a track of hexes. This is a kind of base camp, which will show up on the strategic map, and this is an area where you can actually create supplies and get reinforcements, and you whiz them up to the tactical map where all the business goes on. And this is actually the stuff you put in your supply wagon, which you use once per week. It doesn't really say you use it once per week, but it's obvious once you've gone through the turns that that's what happens. And you transfer these once they're here, you load up, and then you transport the wagon up. When you get to the tactical map, you unload, and all these camps come off, and they go on those supply tracks which are at the top of the tactical map. Okay, so this is a turn marker. So this is daily, and it's a sort of a week. It's a sort of Monday to Sunday, and there's a weather chart up there as well. And then finally, we've got the strategic map. Okay, so that's here, and where we just were on the operational map is here, and your port, which is where reinforcements come from elsewhere in the Empire, is here. And again, you have a little track to get to there, and then when you get there, of course, you're in the base camp on the operational map. But you see these other spots here, and these are British garrisons which are being besieged by the Boers. And this introduces, and up here as well, there's a track here called Parliament versus Triumvirate Negotiations track. These and that are your time limits. So this is a turn track to you losing. If it gets to the end, there's peace negotiations, and you effectively lost as a player, because you're supposed to beat the Boers before the peace talks actually conclude. And also these areas these besieged towns can fall, and that again encourages the Boer to be far more active, and then you get on that kind of slippery slope. Okay, up here is the strategic time track. So these are weeks. So each one of these is one whole sweep of the operational time track, and you put along here. And what appears up here is your reinforcements. So there are, from British India, there are some extra reinforcements you get. One thing I will say is that in all those three, with the exception of the tactical map, that's fine. The other two maps, there's a lot of space which is not used. It's very pretty, but most of the map is useless. I'm not sure that's a great use of space, even though it is pretty. The tracks between the coast and the supply depot, and the supply depot and the British camp on the tactical map are just tracks. You could have had them as tracks, so you could have shrunk this quite a bit. I understand it, aesthetically it looks good, but with the three maps, looking at the three maps, how the three maps interact with the rule books on three different rule books, it's I would say that it's challenging as a game, but go for it if you want to. But as I say, I found it pretty difficult to pass, pretty difficult to work out what I needed to do, and when I wanted to do something, actually how to do it. Lots of head scratching, lots of rule book flipping, and if you're going to flip rule books, one rule book is great, three is, so that's my take on it. But you may enjoy it, you may like it, and it may come to mind for yourselves very, very easily. But I must admit I struggled. But that's my take on it. So that's Hill of Doves, Legion Wargames, pretty newly out. Last month or so, I think it was. Yeah. So what else have we got? So we've got Salerno 43, and you've already seen that. Just looking into the chat. What have we got here? What have we got here? Brun, hi. Didn't see you there. Yeah, Just scrolling back. And Michael, what did I miss? Well, just oceans of content. What can I say? Mike, the new game Atlantic Chase. Yeah, Atlantic Chase, great game. Do I need another one? I think it's the Mediterranean, isn't it? I think people were talking about an Atlantic Chase system. That's going to be a toughie to think about. Yeah. What have we got? Who else have we got? Brun, Red Storm challenging. Yes, but not in the same way. Not frustratingly slow. Yeah. Red Storm, it was all there, and there was a lot of stuff. I find with Hill of Doves, there isn't anything like the amount of stuff, but it's still challenging, and I'm not sure that's necessarily a good thing. Yeah, as Ruff says, he's saying rules are all over the place. I wouldn't necessarily go that far, but I say challenging is the term I'm going to stick with on it. But I say you might like it. So Charles, you said that you made a decision. Some games in some game companies not buy in order to keep purchasing. Okay, so do you restrict and say, okay, I'll buy from GMT, but I won't buy from Compass, or you'll buy GMT and Compass, but I won't buy from, I don't know, Decision or others, Legion or whatever. Names escape me. Sorry. Anyway, what else have we got here? I think the answer to are there too many war games is that the industry will find its own level. Well, that's interesting because, I mean, it's a luxury hobby. It's fairly pricey. It consumes a lot of time if you're doing it. I wouldn't say properly, but doing a lot of it. And I say maybe it's a worry that there will be too many left on the shelf at the stockists at the game companies at some point where there's kind of a there'll be a pause at some point or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, interesting. Yes. And then there'll be less games available. Yeah. Sure. It's sort of the market will correct itself. Yeah, I suppose that's the answer. But in the meantime, still got loads and loads of game out there, and kind of eyes are swiveling again. My God, what do I look at? What do I buy? Especially as a YouTuber, because you try and keep up, but not doing that very well. Okay. Stronikov is off. Brilliant. Well, thanks for popping in and having a chat. Yard work, really. Okay. So listen to the Blue Tweezer channel is not as preferable as doing yard work. I'm sure you're under orders. So yeah, before the commander gets home, exactly. So well, enjoy it if you can, and yeah, we'll see you possibly on Wednesday for the continuation of Cataphract, hopefully. Who else have we got? Simon. Too many games. For me, it's not enough space and enough time. The choice is a feature, not a bug. Yeah. Yes, it is a feature, and I'm wondering if I'm feeling slightly buggish about it. I don't know. I just there's an unease I feel growing. I don't know myself. Brun says game involving the boas. Yeah, intriguing. Have a look into it. But I say it is challenging. It is a challenging game. It's solo and it is a challenging game. But yeah, the subject matter is very interesting because there's not a lot of boa, and this is the first boa war, not the second. So this is the not what people traditionally follow, the sort of turn of the century, turn of the 19th turn of the 20th century one. It's the earlier one, about 20 years early. So not it's a different situation anyway. Crossing says, yeah, pointless. This will look cool, but not really add anything. Yeah, I just feel that I used a lot of table space which didn't really need to be used. So things could be more compact. I don't know. I mean, design decisions, not mine. I'm not a designer. Don't pretend to be. But I just felt there were a lot of gaps. There was a lot of painted cardboard, which wasn't doing anything. Okay. Imaginary says someone said a naughty word. Was it me? Well, yeah. Okay. And it's not the Mediterranean. Okay. I thought I heard something about Mediterranean, but clearly that's not it. So it's later on in the Atlantic, I suppose. Maybe the sort of Battle of the Atlantic kind of stuff. Charles, yeah, no more decision games. I think I only have one, and that's Iwo Jima, D-Day at Iwo Jima, and yeah, issues with it certainly. Okay, so Michael reckons limit yourself to 2 or 3 series and forget the rest. Yeah, but what happens if there are games which aren't in a series? So it's kind of like, well, I won't buy that game because there isn't a series of it. I don't know if that's kind of the right way to go. But if it works for you, works for you. Yeah, so Charles says he does Compass, GMT, and Old Avalon Hill. Minimal area type games, no point to points. Okay, so mainly sort of X Encounter, certainly. Okay, fair enough. But even in that, even with those restrictions, there's a hell of a lot to choose from. But, I mean, especially with Compass seems to be throwing out games, not throwing them out, but producing games of, decent quality really, really frequently. And I suppose the one buying decision that kind of set this off really was the Third World War, which I've got a lot of history with when I was at university, back when dinosaurs roamed the earth. I played that a lot. I even played the whole four games together kind of thing at university. Yeah, I know. And so when that was being announced, I thought, oh, brilliant. But then I looked at the price, and then I thought, really, is that a good buy? And I kind of came to even with the discount for the pre-order, and I kind of came to the conclusion, no, it isn't really, and it's going to be just memories, I'm afraid. But yeah, that might have kicked it off. Actually, interesting from Compass. Too many war games is my issue and not the industry's. Yeah, absolutely. But the frequency here of the production has ramped up so much now that the sort of slightly the shelf of shame kind of mindset has I've kind of gone beyond that and go, okay, I have got too many games to play, but it's a bonanza out there, and gosh, that's and there's interesting stuff. It's not like the games are like, yeah, okay, but there's some stuff there that I'm really interested in, and I go, well, that's where my personal sort of ennui appears. A bit like Third World War. That's a good example. No love for multi-man publishing here. No, yeah, absolutely. MMP, yes. Got a lot. I mean, if you look behind the on-air sign, that shelf and the shelf below are all MMP. So that's my 2 MMP shelves. So, no, absolutely into that. And, well, we'll come on to expected games because there's a couple in there from MMP. Right. Mike's saying GMT each year they set new sales records. So yeah, they're buying them. Yeah, it seems to be working absolutely. It's just my outlook on the whole thing. I think is is the issue here. I suppose everybody might be brilliant with what it's going on. I feel I should think it's brilliant, and I don't quite feel that way, and that's where I've got to come, where I came with from the questions. Right, moving on. What do we got? We have this came since last we spoke, Into the Woods from GMT as the GBACW, and hopefully you'd seen some Death Valley play between me and Ruff earlier on in the year. I'm going to speed this up because we've been going on quite a long time here, but standard series rulebook here for the game. It's the Battle of Shiloh, of course, and then we've got the battle book with quite a lot of scenarios in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, possibly 10 scenarios here. Unpunched at the moment, haven't really got to it. So I've had it for a little while, but usual information counters, more information counters, and I'm going to go through this and go usual, because that's the Union units. The Confederate units are here, and of course we got the activation markers as well. I think probably the difference here is that we've got the maps, which are understandably very, and this is where I do my little origami act with maps to show you, absolutely inundated with the woods. And this game has actually I'm missing a panel here. Whoops. There we go. So as you can see, if I scroll in a little bit there, you can see there's lots and lots of woods, which is normally a problem for line of sight. So there's some special rules in this game which I haven't gone through in detail yet, but seem quite snazzy for getting a line of sight. I think it's kind of generally the rule that you can see through one woods hex to a second one, but not beyond. But there's more than that to it. So another map here, and again you can see loads and loads of woods, and turn track, different turn track, scenarios 1 to 9 there, 10 to there, so it's 10. Some player rates here. We've got an alert schedule in case you fall asleep trying to play the game because it's so long. Battle events chart, so random events I suppose. Ammunition resupply, same again. And your player aid card, so this is pretty much identical to what you had, or very close to identical to what you had. There's a second one you get with Death Valley and the other in the series. Second disorder table, my personal bugbear. I'm always looking at that because my troops just decide to break down. We have a mini map, double-sided. This is for scenario 6 and scenario 2, so you can do it in miniature on a table like I've got behind me. So good news for that, and that's a good addition, I think. You know, space compromised, there's still stuff to play. And then we've got the activation sheets, Confederate and Union. Quite a deep insert here with 2 dice. Quite a deep insert here, which you can remove. Of course, a lot of people do. I try not to, but sometimes I'm forced to. And I think if I'm going to clip this, I'm definitely going to have to remove this because there's very little depth for the insert. Yeah. So I think that's what I'll be doing there. But that's a quick Into the Woods and back out again. Double quick time going through the game. Couple of things else to show you here. Right, we've got how we're going in the chat here. In the ASL word, it's pretty hard to keep up. Exactly, and that's just coming from MMP, isn't it? And I suppose some other contributors. But you're... Brun's looking at the US Civil War on your wish list. Yeah, that's strategic, though. Rather than these battle games, that's a strategic game. And the original game of Victory Games Civil War, which it's based on, is a very good game. Wonderful kind of activation mechanic. I really, really like that. So, this appeared from Worthington. Now, I don't have any Worthington. Well, now I do. I didn't have any Worthington games. It's one of those... I found, looking at their games that they offer, I found them a bit too light for me in general. But this is Malta Besieged. Interesting, this has a sleeve and then has the box with the full backing, and it was shrink wrapped as well. So not sure what this is about. Nice, but I'm not sure. One thing I would say is that the George Cross on here is very nicely done. There, it's a bit odd, really. That's kind of stylized kind of thing. Not sure what that was about. Anyway, so this is about Malta in World War II being besieged by Germans and Italians, and it covers most of the Mediterranean for the time until things like Torch and El Alamein, etc. It's a states of siege game, so this is all about tracks feeding into the centre, and you're in the centre trying to keep them out. If you watched my mission playthrough, then that's a kind of odd version of the states of siege, where you're going out and things are trying to come back in, and there's a sort of pressure thing here, whereas this is a bit more traditional. We have 19 pages of rules, and including notes, designers' notes, examples of player and stuff there. So it's not that heavy, and states of siege games generally aren't. So we have a logbook here, which effectively you can log your plays. This is, of course, solitaire. States of siege games are solitaire. And I kickstarted this because I was interested in a game on Malta, and I understand it was produced before. Again, I think Victory Point Games might have produced it. I can't remember who it was. Convoy display. So when convoys are coming, you have to resolve them each turn to see if you get how you get the supplies. Sticker Joe is doing a playthrough on his channel, which is quite comprehensive. So if you want to learn more about the game, do that. I will be doing a playthrough on this. We have the board, which is not big, thankfully, so I don't knock my glasses off. And here we have sort of Malta in the middle, and then we have these tracks. So there's a track here, there's a track here, and a sort of track that zooms off here, and there's a track. And so there's different pressures. So I think the reds are the Italian Air Force, the blues are the Luftwaffe, the green is the Italian Navy, and here is the Africa Corps down here. And essentially what you do each turn is you turn over a card. Most of it will tell you what to do on the situation. Particularly down here, there's 3 tracks. I won't unravel this again, but there's 3 tracks which are your resources, which you try and improve. Once you've done what the card says, it tells you a number of orders you can give, which is what you can do in the game. Like in the mission, you had an amount of money which you could then use during the turn. Once everything else has happened in the turn, you had this money to then do actions. These orders are like those actions. So interesting enough, in the bottom of the box you get a sort of counter tray, a giant counter tray, although the counters are big, but I wouldn't call them giant. So card storage, maybe it would be better at saying. So we have 3 decks, which is a sort of early, middle, and late war. And this is the. I'll just get this out, get a card out, and show you. This is the kind of thing that it does. So you've got the order. So you get one action in that turn, and these are the things that it told you to do. So this is move the Italian Air Force forward, and these are modifiers down here on those tracks I said you want looking to improve. So that's there. We've got counters, biggish counters, not a lot of them, which are mainly track counters. In fact, they're all track counters. And here we have the dice roll modifiers, which you get off the cards and you put next to the tracks, so it reminds you of die roll modifiers and improving those tracks. Yeah, and another one like that as well, and a big red dice. So it's a nice package, actually. It's a nice, neat package. Haven't got to it yet, of course, but it all fits together very nicely. Looks decent. States of Siege games are States of Siege games. I don't have a lot. I've only got mission in this one. Normally, I would say it's not my cup of tea. This sort of inward track. It's almost tower defense kind of idea on a board game. Wouldn't be my thing. But the mission was interesting, so I got it. This is interesting, so I got it. And we'll have a look. So, one to go. So, hopefully you guys haven't snoozed enough yet. What have we got on the chat here? Charles is into MMP SCS. Okay, that's the one I don't go for. That's the one I exclude it. Wardrobe. So much info on the video. I know. I'm about to lose my biscuit. It's just too much going on. I haven't finished yet. So, last one to show you, and this is not really a new game, but when I kick-started the Malta Besieged, I picked this up at the same time in magnificent style. This is Herman Luitman, man who gets lots and lots of abuse from people in the war room on that channel. And yeah, it's Pickett's Charge at Gettysburg. Not another Gettysburg game. Yeah, indeed, another Gettysburg game. Haven't been through it at all, really. I have flicked through the rules. But the rules are 18 pages, but there's an example of pay and stuff. Yeah, 18. We'll call it 18 pages, so not that heavy. It says on the box that it's fairly. It's a like, what do they call it? They call it. It's upside down. Low complexity. There is the board here, which is more substantial than the Malta Besieged, so it's probably going to end up on the floor or up my backside or something like that. Oh god, here we go. There we go. Look at that. How's that for dexterity? Squares in this game, and essentially it's a run from the bottom to the top, as far as I can tell. You're trying to get to Cemetery Ridge, which is at the top where the Union are. These guys up here, without getting shot to pieces, which, as I understand it, historically they did in a rather bad way. Again, solo, of course. Again, we've got this kind of log where you can log how well you did with your solo pass through. Presumably finding out if you won or not on points, if you can win on points in this game. We have a card deck here, which is kind of like an event deck, but it includes things like you know, the Union firing back at you and stuff like that. Quite colourful. They're not all unique, so there's sets of the cards, particularly the open fire ones here, and loads of dice. I'm not going to get them out. Nice that they have an insert set here, which actually you can put the cards in, you can put the dice in, although there's one missing here, so I think that's where you can put your finger to pick them out. But all these dice are there, and then of course somewhere put the challenge tray. Not sure what that is. I don't know if you can see it. This little sort of indentation here, and I'm quite understood where that what's that for. There are loss and information markers. There's Union strength point markers, Confederate strength point markers. These are your units, these long pieces here. Let me get one out of them for you. Just tells you what it is. This is Brockenborough's Brigade from Virginia. So hopefully you can see that. And you have one of these per column of squares, and you're trying to race them forward. Really, they don't go diagonally; they just go straight up. And finally, we've got some combat modifier little play mats, little hard card player aid hardboard cards. Victory point schedules on the back, and these are combat modifiers on the front. So it's like a player aid card in solid form. We'll call it a bit like my medicine. Good. Okay. So that's that. This is not new. It was just a part of the offer with Malta Besieged, which is new. So there we go. I'm sure you play. Lots of you have played this. Bob says, fine with another Gettysburg game, but another Pickett's Charge game. What's my first Pickett's Charge game? Well, except for Gettysburg games that include Pickett's Charge, and it's sort of a small component of it. It's his first sort of dedicated thing. It's Herman. He's a good bloke. He does good games. My first playthrough on the channel was Metz 1870 at all cost. Franco-Prussian War game by him, which was very good and set me off very well. So yeah, it's and there's also, coming on to the next bit. Yeah, I know there's more, isn't there more? My God. He's involved as well. So right, I'm going to just shrink myself again. Incredible shrinking YouTuber. Nope, that's not me, that's me. There we go. Oh, what happened there? Where's my background gone? Display what? Yeah. Oh, I shrunk the display. There we go. Right, yeah, we were at, as we were with my current games, shrink those out. Blinded with lots of blue tweezers there. You're just going to have to deal with it. And what we now have is, there we go. So this is what I've got coming in. So BCS Aracore. So I didn't really pre-order this because the discount. So I didn't order it directly from MMP. I used Second Chance Games. Those are the guys who are helping out at PunchCon. Very good game store. They do the GMT shipping for Europe as well. When you buy the EU shipping, it goes through them. Good people. So I didn't pre-order it until they announced that it was about to be released, and I thought, well, okay, let's get the £10 off. So I did. So I'm waiting for that to arrive. So this is BCS, one map BCS. I don't know if we've got a complete map here, and whether we can zoom in. No, we can't zoom in here. But so one counter sheet, or is it two count? I think it might be two counter sheets with informational markers. Single mapper, Lorraine 1944, Patton versus I don't know who. I think the campaign game is just 15 turns, so this is minute in comparison to something like Panzer's Last Stand. And I thought I'd get it because I like BCS. I've got all the others, so I'm extending a set. How I square that with all the stuff I've been talking about, I don't know, and I probably don't. But you know, there we go. Next, Race for Bastogne. Now that's been announced by MMP as being almost ready to ship. So I pre-ordered this. This is GTS in the Battle of the Bulge. Again, can I? I don't know. Oh, there we go. I think that's a. Is it a 2? It's a 1 or a 2 mapper. And just the area around Bastogne during the Battle of the Bulge. So let me have a look. It is the map. Is it? I can't see a map on there. So series rules, exclusive rules, rules summary, TEC divisional charts, off map displays. Doesn't actually say how big the map is, but there you go. So I think it might be a one mapper. Again, not a huge amount of turns, and reduced counters for a lot of the GTS stuff. Probably not as small as No Question of Surrender, which was the French Foreign Legion one, which I have got as well. But yeah, smaller, and just I pre-ordered this start of lockdown. This was one of the ones I went, oh cool, I'll go for that, and now it's about to ship, so that should be coming fairly shortly. And then yes, Mr. Lutman, here we have with Flying Big Games, a most fearful sacrifice, and I'm actually in the way. Let me move myself out of the way here. So, a most fearful sacrifice here. Gettysburg and Pickett's Charges in there as well. Zoom in top right above. There we go. Thank you. Cheers, Jeff. Thank you very much. Yeah. So yeah, this is a playable monster apparently from Herman, and it's a bit different than his blind sword system. Apparently, so again, this was another of the very early on Kickstarter-y things. This was a Kickstarter rather than a pre-order, so that's coming. That's coming through. So, and we've got a map one here. Let's see if we can put a map one up. There we go. Looks like the edge of Cemetery Ridge, Culp's Hill kind of thing. Gettysburg just at the top. Apparently meant to be a lot playable. Lot more playable than most Gettysburg games, so we shall see. We shall see. And of course, I've been banging on about this for flaming ever. The Long Road. It is World War III meets zombies and vampires, and of course, I've got, hopefully, crossing fingers, we've got a sample playthrough with Mark Walker, who's the designer of this, on May the 1st. On the channel. Hopefully you can make it. Hopefully it still goes on. We've had lots of, shall we say, logistical challenges about fixing the date and keeping the date, but hopefully we're fixed now, and it'll be myself, Mark, and a couple of his playtest buddies, a playtest buddy and a vassal buddy, I think, or no, TTS buddy, working on that, so that should be an interesting exclusive. But yeah, this should be coming fairly shortly, and in fact I looked to do that that segment on the Long Road in a decent amount prior to when it was shipping, and now it's starting to, the gap is starting to narrow now, very, very small, so people might actually get this before May the 1st, it seems, certainly in the US. And that's what I'm looking for. Just to reiterate what I was talking about on the too many war games thing, or are there too many war games? So this is the production outlook on GMT. Now I have recently removed some of my P500s just for interest's sake. It was I believe the CDG solo system. When I actually looked in it, I only have one CDG that actually solo system package actually works with, so I thought, well, yeah, don't need that. I've dropped off 2 coins I had on, Red Dust Rebellion, and also China's War. I think is it China's War? China's War, which I had P500 for a very long time, but I've removed that as well, and a few others. So a few others are going. I think Fall of Saigon, the Fire in the Lake expansion. Love Fire in the Lake. I'm not sure I need the expansion, so that's gone as well. And I did originally do a Moravid, but I removed that for quite a while ago, so I'm not kind of including that. What's coming up for me here is Red Storm Baltic Approaches. Hopefully you saw all the Red Storm stuff we do. That'd be interesting to get some naval stuff in there. That'd be nice. And then I've got Skies Above Britain, Great Battles of Julius Caesar Deluxe Edition. I haven't gone for the Stalingrad 42 expansion. Still thinking about it. Probably won't, but still thinking about it. And then from there, Battles of Shenandoah, Death Valley expansion. So I've gone for these expansions, but brand new games starting. Yeah, got the Mr. President, and Fields of Fire expansion as well. But yeah, after that it gets very, very lean because I'm trying to be a bit, circumspect. Anyway, how are we going in the chat? And you guys have been sticking with me through thick and thin, and it's mostly thin, I think, probably. Bob says, why would an upstanding right-thinking wargamer like yourself have anything to do with World War III versus zombies? Because it's silly. There's nothing wrong with a bit of silliness. I didn't buy Third War, but I bought The Long Road. Yeah, okay, call me a nutcase. Probably am. So yeah. And you said upstanding right thinking. I'm sitting down and I'm definitely not right thinking. So yeah, it's for me. I know it's a bit daft, but I know it's daft. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with daft. Nothing wrong with daft. Okay. Right. Imaginary Star. He pre-ordered Aracor. Got it last. Oh, you got it already? Of course, yeah. Over in the States, everybody's getting it. I haven't got it yet. But yeah, well done. Hope you enjoy it. Hope I enjoy it as well. There's an outright chance I might want to try and play it at PunchCon. I'm thinking about it. And of course, will it get here in time? Because well, we've got a month to go. I don't know if that's going to be enough time for it to appear, but we'll see. Skies Above Britain, a certain buy for me. Yeah, it is for me actually. Yeah, sorry, I forgot that one. Yeah, Skies Above Britain. I think I said I was getting that. The other one I was thinking about was the Musket and Pike dual pack. It's kind of like that Men of Iron, Great Battles of History kind of lots of stuff stuck in a box. Again, I've got my devil and angel on the shoulders fighting over that one as well. So 12 pre-orders for Charles, 6 for Compass. 12 pre-orders including 6 for Compass, 5 for GMT and 1 for Legion. Okay, well yeah, I think I'm probably about that level. I mean, once the Flying Pig and the MMPs come through, that's pretty much it on those sides. I haven't really gone in for anything more on those sides. It's really down to it's down to GMT after that with whatever. I think I might have a couple of Kickstarters which will appear at some point, but not many. Yeah, 1 or 2. That's all. Right. Anyway, well, I've chewed through enough of your Good Friday. You can go off and be very, very good on your own with your families and everything. I hope you have a good weekend. I'm off up north, which means I'm going to the north of England, which is where my dad's family's from. We're going to meet some relatives and stuff. Travel through horrendous traffic jams tomorrow, and then come back. And I'll enjoy it. I really will. But anyway, next thing from this channel is, of course, Wednesday with Ruff, as long as Ruff is still standing, and I'm still standing after consuming, well, it's not a large amount of cognac, to be honest, and I would have recovered by then. Tony says, Happy Easter. Exactly. Happy Easter, everybody. Hope you get some good gaming in. And if not, hope you set yourself up to allow yourself to do some gaming at some other point. And maybe I might see, I doubt it, but I might see a few of you at PunchCon, you never know, next month. But still, then that's been the chat, the rather disorganised, completely off the cuff, seat of the pants chat for you, and hopefully I'll do another one next month if I can find enough cognac and enough fortitude to do that. Until then, hopefully I'll see you on Wednesday. And thanks everybody for contributing in the chat. And don't worry, I'm not going bonkers. Well, not any more bonkers than I was. And thank you for the contribution. And we'll see you next time on Wednesday, and for the next chat, and for the long road. Please go to see that, and maybe at PunchCon. Till then, bye for now. Bye.